There is talk of the revival of the Weimar Triangle in Europe. What is the Weimar Triangle? What is its purpose? And who are its members? Let's discuss everything in simple language. So, first of all, let's look at its name, Weimar Triangle. From the word triangle, you can understand that this is an alliance of three countries. These three countries are France, Germany, and Poland. So, we have a triangle. Now, what is this Weimar? Weimar is a city in Germany. This city was the center of the Enlightenment in Germany. After knowing this, you will now be able to easily remember its member countries. If the name contains the German city Weimar, then obviously Germany will be a member of this alliance. Now, we are left with two members. The remaining two members are Germany's neighbors, France and Poland. There was a meeting between these three countries in 1991, from which a regional alliance emerged. Now, because this meeting was held in the city of Weimar in Germany and there were three countries in it, that is why this alliance got the name the Weimar Triangle. Okay, so we understood what the Weimar Triangle is, who its three members are, and how it got its name. Now, let's talk about its purpose. If three countries have come together, obviously that means they will have a goal for which they wish to work together. They want to cooperate to achieve something. In which areas do they want to cooperate? These are political, economic, cultural, and security. Let me repeat it. They aspire to political, economic, cultural, and security cooperation. Now, you may know that Poland was formerly a communist country and a satellite state of the Soviet Union. Let me give you a little background. The Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union divided Europe into the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. The Eastern Bloc was led by the Soviet Union. Because of the influence of the Soviet Union, the countries here were communist. Their political, social, and economic systems were governed by communist principles. Communist principles include all those things, creating a classless society, one-party rule, state control over the means of production, equal distribution of wealth, etc. The Western Bloc, on the other hand, was led by the United States. The countries here were capitalist and had market economies. A market economy means that the production of goods and services will not be controlled by the state. It will be decided by the forces of demand and supply. Additionally, the countries of the Western Bloc were democracies and there was a multi-party system. There was no one-party rule like in the communist states. So, this was the basic difference between the countries of the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. Therefore, you can see that there was a lot of ideological difference between these two blocs. Due to differences in this ideology, there was a standoff between the two blocs for years, which we call the Cold War. So, we have seen a quick background. Now, back to our topic, the Weimar Triangle. France and Germany were in the Western Bloc and Poland was in the Eastern Bloc. During the Cold War, the leaders of these blocs, the US and the Soviet Union, tried all they could to increase their spheres of influence and include more and more countries in their bloc. It all started in 1947 and went on for quite a while. Then, in 1989, a historic event took place, the fall of the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was not only a physical barrier but also a symbol of ideological difference dividing communist Eastern Europe from capitalist Western Europe. The fall of the Berlin Wall acted as a catalyst for the collapse of communist regimes. Pro-democracy movements intensified in Eastern Europe. The flaws of the economic models of communist governments had already come to the fore. Public discontent was growing rapidly. The weaknesses of the communist systems had been exposed. Voices against the monopoly of the communist government also began to rise in Poland in the 1980s. Workers protested, there were demands for political reforms, and people were fed up with the economic crisis. So, all of this ultimately led to the fall of the communist government in Poland as well. So, Poland was a communist country before the fall of communism in 1989. After the fall of communism, Poland made a transition towards democracy. The initial goal of the Weimar Triangle, created in 1991, was to help Poland transition out of communism. This means helping Poland move from communism to democracy and a market economy. Another aim was to bring about reconciliation between Poland and Germany. There were many disputes between Germany and Poland, with painful memories of conflicts and rivalries between the two countries. Before World War II, there were numerous territorial disputes between them. As you know, during World War II, Nazi Germany invaded Poland in 1939, resulting in widespread destruction. Many Polish citizens were killed, and targeted killings of Polish Jews occurred under Hitler's leadership. You must have heard about the Holocaust, the horrifying event in which Nazi Germany carried out the genocide of European Jews. After World War II, some German territory was ceded to Poland. Following the defeat of Nazi Germany, the borders of Europe were redrawn and some territories of Germany were given to Poland. The ethnic Germans living in these territories had to flee for their lives because they feared that the Polish government would seek vengeance against the Germans living there for the wartime atrocities committed. So there are a lot of painful memories between Poland and Germany. And we saw that the aim of the Weimar Triangle was to bring about reconciliation between Poland and Germany. In 1991, a treaty of good neighborliness, friendship and cooperation was signed between Germany and Poland. So, steps toward reconciliation were being taken even before formal creation of the Weimar Triangle. The Weimar Triangle was created to further boost such reconciliation steps. Speaking of the present scenario, the partnership between Poland and Germany has evolved significantly. The two countries have strong relations. Today, both Poland and Germany are members of the European Union and NATO alliance. Thus, the Weimar Triangle has accomplished its initial goal, Poland's transition and reconciliation with Germany. Now, Russian aggression has led to talks of the revival of the Weimar Triangle. Efforts are being made to build consensus among the member countries so that this regional alliance does not lose its relevance. I'll give you a small example. France has just made a statement that we can consider deploying NATO troops in Ukraine. Germany's position has been that European troops should not be deployed in Ukraine to avoid threatening Russia's sovereignty. Russia has openly threatened to consider nuclear options if NATO troops are deployed in Ukraine. So here, we see that the member countries are not united. This is because of individual national interests, as Germany is dependent on Russia for its energy needs. The revival of the Weimar Triangle means that these contradictions should be resolved so that member countries can be united and common challenges can be tackled jointly. Defense and security capabilities within Europe can be enhanced. Joint military exercises could be conducted, intelligence should be shared, and members could work together on European as well as global issues. The lack of cohesion in European Union should be addressed, and the EU should be made stronger. Challenges like the Ukraine conflict should be tackled, and political dialogue should be held to deepen overall cooperation. Trade and investment must be increased through economic collaboration to achieve high economic growth. At the same time, cultural exchange must be boosted, mutual understanding should be increased, and members must come together to address today's contemporary challenges like climate change, energy security, technological innovations, fighting disinformation, and facing external geopolitical events. Even a strategy must be created jointly for artificial intelligence. The Russia-Ukraine conflict isn't going the way Western countries wanted. Russia is winning, and Europe is not able to support Ukraine much due to the economic slowdown. Vladimir Putin has been re-elected as the president of Russia. The fears due to Russia's aggression are bringing these countries together. That's why the revival of the Weimar Triangle is being talked about. So, in this video, we saw what the Weimar Triangle is, who its members are, what its purpose is, and why it is being revived. I hope you found this session useful. Thank you for your time.